Hashem na'aseh v'natzliach. Shir Torah, Bruchim Habayim. We're back. Shavua Tov. We're doing our series on the Jewish Hashkafa, Jewish ideology based on the Sefer by the Chazon Ish and Emunah Bitachon. Today's shiur will be for Ilui Nishmat Nachman ben Eliyahu Raphael. Also for a Refuah Shlema, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf for Eliyahu ben Nachman and Eliezer ben Nachman, Yosef Yitzchak ben Baila, Rachel, Stefan ben Katarina, Yitro ben Avraham, Talia bat Sarah, Michal bat Yael, Serach bat Batya, Batya bat Sarah, Orit bat Ilana, Rabbanit Levana bat Sarah, Rab Ephraim ben Shulamit, Rabbanit Sarah bat Anat, Rabbanit Shulamit bat Nejima, Rav Chaim ben Jora, Doris bat Jora, David ben Nesriya, and also for a Atzlacha Rabba for Shaul ben Farzane, Ayla bat Marsha, Marsha bat Julie, and also for Yitro ben Avraham, and also Refuah Shlema for Jonas ben Sherry Haley. Kadosh Baruch Hu yivarech otam bekol mikol kol. Oh, and also a Refuah Shlema for Shlomo Yaakov ben Chaya Sarah. And Sharon bat Avraham, Adel bat Sharon, Esther bat Tzipora, and Raphael ben Esther. הקדוש ברוך הוא יברך אותם בכל מכל כל, רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף, הצלחה רבה בכל מעשה ידיהם. And also do the zchut of this shiur and many others, help all of Am Yisrael, especially the ones that are partners with us, whether it's by their resources of money, time, skills, whatever way people are looking to help us. May Hashem bless them thousandfold in this world and the next. It's truly amazing how many people are looking to volunteer, help, do good things. Just a small example of some of the things that just recently came out, because there's constantly new projects, but rarely do you see them in actual hard copy. But part of Team HaShem, they do different types of things, different creations. So Baruch Hashem, we have some things for you guys. There's a magnet for your fridge or forever of the blessings on food. One of the tzadikot put this, posted together. We turned it into a magnet. Really nice creation. Blessings for motzi, mezonot, borei pri adama, shakol. This is very good for any house. I have it on my house, and I think we're religious too. So don't feel ashamed. Only $1,000. Anyway, this one is a doctor's prayer. 900. Doctor's prayer. It's just a reminder. It's not a magnet. When you don't need a doctor, you can just go to the back of it and download the app. A reminder. The next one is also another thing for food blessings. These are going to be added to our KIRUV package, but we figured to bring you guys some. And also for anyone that wants to grow the shiur, we made a poster for you guys. Anyone wants to hang them in their local kehillah, they have already most of what I have is already spoken for, but anyone that wants to do it, let me know and I'll print some more, BeEzrat HaShem. So, different things, different tools. B'tachpolot tavi lecha milchama. When the Yetzer Hara fights you, you have to come with wisdom. You have to have some creative ideas to fight. Especially now that we have, less than a month away before Rosh Hashanah, before Yom Adin Agadol ve'Anorah, Judgment Day. It's easy to forget what's coming because we're so busy with our life. We're so busy with learning different things. We're so busy with chasing our own tail, trying to make money, trying to move, trying to this, trying to that. It's tough to get your head together and actually come to the realization that the biggest trial of your life is less than a month away. Usually people, if they have a trial for a parking ticket or a speeding ticket that could potentially cost them a bunch of money or even their license, they already become nervous a month in advance. They hire lawyers, they call their friends, ask for advice as if anybody knows anything or it matters. And everybody's nervous. If you have, chas v'shalom, ever a trial with the regulators, whether it be the IRS or some self-regulatory system you have in your country, you get nervous months in advance. Months in advance you can't sleep. Months in advance you can't eat. Months in advance you can't think about anything else until this trial is over. And even after you have the trial, you still have to wait for a decision many times. But very few among us actually think about our trial that's on Rosh Hashanah. Needless to say, very few of us think about the trial that we have every day. The Gemara in Masechet BeIt and also in Masechet Rosh Hashanah says that everything is decided, including your parnasah, on Rosh Hashanah. From Rosh Hashanah until Rosh Hashanah. But then the Mishnah says, every day it's decided. Every day or every year. So the Baal Shem Tov came and gave a chidush that he learned from a milkman. What was the chidush? One time a guy came and the Baal Shem Tov saw him and said, "How you doing?" He said, "Oh, Rebbe, it's tough. What's tough?" "Oh, you know, I'm doing this already for 20 years. It's heavy. It's hot outside. Not the best job. Maybe I could have been something else. Shem Yazor. Shem help us." Next day, he sees the same guy. So, "How are you doing?" He says, Baruch Hashem, Ishtabach Shemo, all the blessings in the Torah. What happened? "No, everything is good, Baruch Hashem. Thank God I have a job. You know, my friend, he got fired of his job. He doesn't have a job. I just thank Hashem that I have something. Thank you. So the Baal Shem Tov says, you gave me a chidush. What a chidush? The Gemara says that our parnasah is decided on Rosh Hashanah. But the Mishnah that preceded the Gemara says it's decided every day. So who's right? They're both right. How is it? The Gemara says every year Kadosh Baruch Hu decides how much parnasah you're going to get. But the Mishnah went into more specific detail. It says, yes, although it's decided how much you're going to make every year on Rosh Hashanah, every day your name shows up at the ballot in Shamayim at the Beit Din, and they say, how is he going to get it tomorrow? Is he going to get it the hot way, where it's 900 degrees outside and he has to work outside, or is he going to get it in the air conditioner? Is the air conditioner going to work, or it's not going to work? Is the people going to show up, or they're not going to show up? Is it going to be a lot, or is it going to be a little? Hard work, easy work. So the Baal Shem Tov says, they're both right. You're going to get the parnasah one way or the other. How you're going to get it is a different story. And you see it many times. Many times people worry every single day about how they're going to get parnasah, but not necessarily how they're going to convince Hashem to give it to them in the first place. Or to give it to them in an easier way. Why? We're not worried about Yom Adin. We're not worried about. Now you would say, listen, to be worried every single day, you have to be a tzaddik. To be worried every day about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Judgment Day, you have to be big tzaddik. Although that's not necessarily true, but yeah, okay, let's say. But what about worrying about it once a year at least, on Rosh Hashanah? Even that is hard. Why is it hard? Because the Yetzer Hara is very smart and he keeps us busy. Just like Am Yisrael was in Egypt, slaves being tortured, kids being killed, Hashem Yishmo, all types of horrible things. Moshe Rabbeinu, the Goel, the Mashiach shows up, tell him, I'm going to free you guys. Oh, Moshe, we're busy, go somewhere else. We're busy, working hard. That's what the Pasuk says, we're working hard. Moshe, can't listen to you right now. Meaning that the Yetzer Hara just keeps us working hard. Working hard at what? Anything but doing tshuva. Anything but doing tshuva. So, although we really should be worried every single day, at the very least, the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, worry now. You got less than a month away before Judgment Day, and you're still worried about girls. You're still worried about the stock market. You're still worried about your diet. You're still worried about everything but whether you're going to live. We're not worried enough. Now, Rabbi Levinstein, Alav Shalom, YESHIVA Miponovich, Mashgiach Miponovich. He was a malach. Simple. Malach. But we don't take my word for it. We take the word of his wife, who said it at his funeral. Because Chachamim tell us, only two know who you are. HaKadosh Baruch Hu and your wife. Everybody else, you could fool them. Your friends, you can fool them to think that you're a really nice guy because you're nice to them, but they don't know you beat your wife. You see your friends? I love you. What's up, man? How you doing? How's your kids? Oh, that little one's so cute. Yeah, I love seeing him. Yeah. Chazaku Baruch. He finished a masechet. Yeah. He doesn't know that your kid doesn't want to read. Now he doesn't know how to read. He doesn't want to read. Why? Every time he read something, you gave him a slap so hard, he never wanted to read again. But his kid, I like. Look, he likes kids, honey. He likes kids. Yeah, he likes kids. His own kids, he beats. He beats them senses. They don't want to be religious. They don't want to be Jewish. They don't want to be alive because of him. So your friends you can fool. Your boss, for sure you can fool him. So you finished the project? Almost, boss. You haven't even started. I'm almost done, boss. I'm almost done. You haven't started yet. The guy leaves. What the hell is he talking about? What project? What's due today? Like he's in high school. What, there's a test today? I love those kids. You're in school. What, there's a test today? What'd you do all week? Where'd you go? What do you mean is there a test today? Did you come to class? No, of course you're not going to know there's a test today. Can I copy it for you? Yeah. What do you think is going to happen in real life? You think you're going to copy off of somebody to pay your rent? But you could cheat. You could lie. Tell the teacher, yeah, I study all night. I studied all night to write everything on my hand. Studied all night to copy the homework from him. I studied. You could fool the teacher. You could fool your friends. You could fool the boss. You could fool your customer. Yeah, it's brand new, lady. It's brand new. Refurbished. Brand new. It's the best. Worst thing in the world. Best thing in the world. I'm losing money on this. I love those people. I'm losing money on giving this to you because I like you. Made yuck on you. Doubled his money on you. I'm losing money on you. He's such a giver. He's such a pure neshama. How are you still in business? You're losing money on every customer. You can lie to the customers. You can lie to your boss. You can lie to the customer, but you cannot lie to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. But also, even your wife knows the truth. Your spouse knows the truth. They may not say it. They may not want to say it because they're scared. They may not want to say it because they just simply don't want to deal with it. But one day it's all going to come out. Rabbi Levinstein, Alav Shalom, at his funeral, his wife says, I simply lived with a malach. I lived with an angel. Now many times somebody can be a big rabbi, help a lot of people, and it's very hard to pay the same type of attention at home. Why? You got 500 people complaining to you non-stop, maybe 1 out of 500 saying thank you. Okay, just to, one zik and nigga zik, 1 for 500. By the time you get to your wife and kids, you can't handle anything. Anything but good you can't handle. Why? It's tough already. You're already dealing with so much craziness. So it's hard to maintain. His wife, the Rabbanit, says, Rav Levinstein, angel. On all the smallest things he cared about. On all the little minor details, he took care of. Everything. Malach. But this very same malach, one time, the Bachurim in his yeshiva wanted to protest. Because there wasn't enough food. Not like today. The air conditioner is not working, so we're protesting. We're not coming to the shiur for a year. Yeah, but it didn't work only for one day. Yeah, but we're going to use this excuse not to come for a year. They wanted to protest. How did they protest? No signs like the crazy people of today. What did they do? Something more creative. All their underwear, their t-shirts and everything, they hung them on ropes in the yeshiva. Now the rabbis showed up and they see the yeshiva turned into a laundromat. This guy's underwear, t-shirts, tank tops, Shem Yishmo. What are they going to do? The rabbi, 500 boys. What are you going to do? Kill everybody? What are you going to do? Fire everybody? What are you going to do? I mean, and they're not even protesting against something bad. I mean, they want more food. Rav Levenstein walks in. He sees it. He says, whoever doesn't take off his stuff from the lines, I promise him he will not finish this year. And he started learning. Within 5 seconds, every single thing disappeared, like the ground swallowed it, like koach. Why? Rav Levenstein doesn't say much nonsense. Let's just say that. If he told you you're not going to finish the year, it's better to listen to him. Why? Because he loves you. So how come he has to be so harsh? Why can't he say, guys, please, I understand you, come on. Why can't he just give him another shiur? One of his famous shiurim. Give him a dvar Torah, chizuk, listen, it's not the right place to do it, I understand, you have to work on yourself. Why? Because Rabotai Yekarim, Rav Levenstein knew that when it comes to the issues of desire, there is no easy route. Why? When someone has a strong desire, even if it's a desire that's necessary, like eating, it's nonetheless a desire. You cannot talk somebody out of it in a soft approach. If I don't destroy this right away, nothing's going to happen. I can give them 100 shiurim, he says. 100 shiurim, and it won't affect them. Why? Right now they're in the middle of a desire. And if I don't kill it right away, with something strong, something lethal, nothing will help. The whole place will collapse. This is why sometimes, Rabotai Karim, the hard MUSSAR is the only thing that works for certain people. But sometimes it doesn't. The same Rav Levenstein, same Mashgiach Miponovich, one time comes to his yeshiva and he sees all the boys are there and he tells them, go home, go play, go do whatever you want. I'm not teaching you today. 500 boys, 1,000 boys, what are they going to do? We're going to go play in the sand? Go play in the sand, go do something. I want to teach you. Not interested. But why, Kvod Harav? We're here. No, you're here. Go. I don't want to teach you. Why not? What do we do? It says because you don't want to learn. But we show up. Isn't that a sign? Isn't that an indication? We came to the shiur 10 o'clock at night. Isn't that an indication that I want to learn? Rav Levenstein says, you see, sometimes there are certain people, I think you call it sadistic, where they like pain. They like pain. Some are masochistic. One likes to give pain, one likes to receive pain. Some people like to receive pain. It's a form of pleasure for them. Strange people. Need help. But they exist in the world. Some people like to receive pain physically. And some people like to receive pain emotionally, psychologically. They like it if you insult them. They like it if you bash them. They like it. Some people like to receive pain spiritually. They want to tell you, oh, Rabbi, I'm a Rasha, right? Ah, yeah, Chazak, Rabbi. Yeah, you're right. You called me on that one. Yeah, I did that last week. Wow, this Rabbi is the best. This Rabbi is the best. He knows I'm a criminal. I can't wait to come back here next week. Some people like to receive it physically. They go to these massage parlors so the person can stomp on their back. But why? Because they want the pain. At the end, it feels better. At the end, it feels better. Why? But the pain, it's agony. Agony, jumping on your back. Oh, yeah, it's going to feel good for you, yeah. It's going to feel good. They like it. Rav Levenstein says, I'm not a massage parlor. And I'm not a person that's going to give you pain for your joy. I'm here to change people. And if you're not looking to change, I don't want to teach you. One of the most disappointing things that a leader, whether it be in KIRUV or otherwise, has to deal with is when people continuously show up, listen to what they say, tell them, Chazaku Baruch, I like that shiur, I like that lecture, it's the best. But the next day, same animal as it was the day before. Nothing changed. Nothing. Same person, same everything, week after week, year after year. They show up, they listen, they like it, but they don't change. This, Rabotai, is unfortunately a recurring problem you cannot avoid. Because it's not up to the speaker. It's not up to the rabbi. The rabbi is simply the spark. The spark to get you ignited, in order to wake you up, in order for you to desire to want to change. But if you do not want to change, nothing will help. Even if you come to every shiur, and you watch every shiur online live, and you watch it again the next day on YouTube, and just to get out of the obligation, make sure you watch it on the app also, on the BeEzrat HaShem app. And just in case you miss something, you're going to watch the clips from that shiur. And just to make sure you make a mitzvah, you share it too. But you still walk around half naked, still walk around with nivul peh, curse coming out of your mouth every 2 seconds, still waste your life with all types of nonsensical hobbies and habits, still stingy, still arrogant, still angry, still same animal they started 2 years before the shiur did. How do I know? Unfortunately, I see it. I see it every day in people. I see it every day in people where they tell me, yes, and I love the shurim, they're great. And I look at the profile picture, because unfortunately it's part of the automatic situation today. Everybody has a profile picture that you have to see. And you see this person says, I love the shurim, it changed my life. Why didn't it change your wardrobe? How about it doesn't change your life? How about you just change your wardrobe instead? Don't give me the compliment. Just buy clothes. How about that? But that's the problem. Sometimes a person does not understand that the lecture is talking to him. The Mishnah in Avot says, Im en anili mili. Hillel HaZaken says, if I'm not for myself, who is for me? Commentary on that by Rabbeinu Yonah, 800 years ago. He says, if I don't rebuke myself, then who will do it for me? Because the rebuke of others is only good for an hour. But the constant rebuke of myself, to wake myself up, would last day after day and not be forgotten. Rabbeinu Yonah, the one who wrote the Sefer about Tshuva, says it clearly. You're going to come to a shiur, it's a good shiur, at best case scenario, chizuk for an hour. To change your life, you have to want it. You have to want it. So what's the point of the shiur? To ignite you. To ignite you. As we see from the whole Maaseh with Eliyahu Nevi and Achav Rasha. Achav was the king of Am Yisrael, was Rasha. Married to a Goya, Izevel, worshipped idols, did every sin under the sun. One day Eliyahu Nevi comes to him and starts rebuking him and tells him the worst possible thing. He says, you're going to die, and your wife is going to die an unusual death. And on top of it, the dogs are going to eat her body parts and lick her blood. And all of your descendants are going to die. And Hashem Yishmo, what type of rebuke he gave him. But not rebuke like you're a bad guy. Rebuke like I'm promising you, the end is near and it's horrible. At that moment, the Tanakh says, Achav, the Rasha, killed people, did all types of evil in the world, took it seriously, put a sack on himself, and started doing tshuva. And there's a machloket among the poskim. Whether he did tshuva or he didn't do tshuva. He started doing tshuva, but then he went back, or he did tshuva be'emet. And Hashem says to Eliyahu Navi, look at Achav, how he's doing tshuva. So Chachamim said, look, he said he's doing tshuva. Yeah, but did it last or no? How did he start doing tshuva? Eliyahu Navi. Eliyahu Navi started him. So you need a spark. But that spark's not enough. In order for it to continue, you have to overcome your desires. But you cannot overcome your desires just tiptoeing around. Yeah, I'm going to stop on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but the rest of the week, game's on. No, I'm going to stop doing it every day. I'll just do once a month. No such thing. It's either allowed or not allowed. Kasher, tameh. You're going to do it, you're not going to do it. Why? As long as you're playing both sides of the field, Rabotai, it's not tshuva. It's not tshuva. It's like people, they're going to show up on Yom Kippur with white clothes on, drive to shul on Yom Kippur, drive to shul on Shabbat. They have white clothes on for Yom Kippur. They'll sing with everybody. They'll sing with everybody. But they're already planning a barbecue or go to the beach or something on Shabbat. Why? They're confused. They don't understand. Tshuva is not just for Yom Kippur. It's every day. And if we don't do tshuva every day, it won't last. It's either allowed or it's not allowed. It's either Kadosh Baruch Hu says yes or Kadosh Baruch Hu says no. When he says yes, that means you're going to get reward for it. When he says no, that means you're going to get punished for it. You don't believe? Read in the books. Now, every one of us needs a spark. Today, yesterday, on Tisha B'Av, we read the book of Lamentations, Sefer Echa. In chapter 4, verse 15, says, away unclean people, shouted at them. Calling the people like a nida, impure. And Rabbi Hanina interpreted this, referring to Bnot Israel, saying, it's written, Hashem says, because of the daughters of Zion are so vain and walk with heads thrown back, as it says in Isaiah 3, verse 16, because the daughters of Zion are so vain, they walked about with presumptuousness of spirit, and walk with heads thrown back, as was the case when one of them dressed up in ornaments, she stretched her neck here and there in her pride to show off her jewelry. We're not even talking about showing off body. Talk about show. Oh, you see the new necklace my husband got me? You see? Oh, did you see it? Oh, you saw it already? You want to see it again? Want to see it again? You see it? You like it? $5,000. You can't go on, right? With roving eyes. Rabbi Yassi of Sisera says, they deceptively painted their eyes with red paint. Put enough makeup on their face, you could see them like a traffic light. And Rabbi Shimon, son of Lakish, says, with red collyrium and with mincing gait, If one of them was tall, she went with two short women on either side, so that she might seem taller because of her height. And if one of them was short, she wore platform shoes, so she might appear tall, making tinkling with their feet. Rabbi Yossi says, she was decorated by the form of a dragon on her sandals. 2,000 plus years ago, the prophet Jeremiah tells us in the book of Echa, and the Chachamim give us commentary, says, you see the problems you have today, girls walking with high heels, girls walking around to get attention. In those days, it was the same thing. Some use similar tools, some use different tools. One tall girl would walk around with two short girls. Why? Because if she's tall, she stands out. One short girl would wear platform shoes, big heels, big things. Why? She wants you to think she's tall. Why? Because she wants you to look at her. If that's not enough, they'll put bells on their shoes. Put bells on their shoes. Today, they don't need to put bells. Why? Because the heels make enough noise you can hear from down the street. And the rabbi said, she brought the crop of a rooster, and it was filled with balsam oil, and she placed it in between her heel and her sandal. And when she saw a group of guys, she smashed it, and the scent spread among them, and this was like a venom of a snake. Today's world, lots of perfume. She walked into the room, the whole office knows. Everybody knows. Oh, she's here. How do you know? You're 5,000 feet away. I could smell it. Chachamim call it like the venom of a snake. Venom of a snake is not a good thing unless you need it for medicine, but that's only if it works. Otherwise, it just simply kills you. Meaning what? If it's your wife, smells good, Baruch Hashem, it's medicine. If it's not your wife, it's venom. It happened that Jeremiah said to them, do tshuva, make repentance so that the enemies will not come. And they said to them, if the enemies come upon us, what are they going to be able to do to us? See, it's written, let him speed, let him hasten his purpose. If we are to give thought, let the plans of the Holy One of Israel be quickly fulfilled. If we have to give heed. In so many words, the prophet of the day, Jeremiah, tells the women, do tshuva, stop walking around immodestly, stop looking for attention. He's not talking about mini skirts and tank tops. You're simply a center of attention. Why? Look at the way you dress. Look at the way you talk. Look at the way you laugh. Look at your attitude. Every single guy knows your name. How come? They're not all your husband. How come everybody knows you? Oh, I'm friendly. I'm a friendly woman. You're a friendly woman. You're going to be in Genom, friendly. You have a lot of friends over there. Why? There's no reason for you to have male friends. No, they're my colleagues. They all work in your department. You built airplane parts. This guy cleans the garbage. What does he have to do with you? I'm just being nice. No need to be nice. Hello, goodbye, finished. To know his personal life about his wife and how many kids and where they go on vacation is too much information. You're looking for attention. Why? You like it. That's the truth. Why'd you put extra perfume today? You're not going to be next to your husband. Oh, so Steve in the office can smell. So Joe can smell. So Jose can smell. So everybody else can enjoy somebody else's wife. How come you're laughing so loud? Why? So everybody down the street can hear you too? That it's funny? Maybe they're going to come over and say, oh, what's so funny? What's so funny? How come you speak so loud? Why does everybody have to hear your conversation? What you did this weekend? And what your mother made for food? Why? Why are you so out there? Why? You want attention. Right? Jeremiah says no good. Where did Jeremiah hear from? Kadosh Baruch Hu. He says, do tshuva before this brings enemies. What enemies? Destruction of the Bet HaMikdash, Rabbi. And what did the women say? No, come on, you're exaggerating. If Hashem wants us to send these enemies, we'll just marry these enemies. He wants to send the Romans, he wants to send this one, he wants to send that one, we'll just marry them. What? We're pretty. We're good-looking ladies. Why not? What's the problem? What can they do to us? Nothing. Maybe they'll mad at our husbands. Okay, so we'll have new husbands. The Midrash continues, says horrible things about what kind of punishment these people got. But the long story short is that sometimes, Rabotai, a person has to stop fooling themselves and think that they're listening to rebuke, and that rebuke has to do with somebody else. If you are listening to this, even if you're the speaker of this, it has to do with you. Why? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, bechvodo u'be'atzmo, created the world, put a Torah in it, put people in it, billions and billions and billions of people with all types of problems and all types of desires and all types of dinners, lunch and all types of meals and all types of hobbies and all types of cars and planes and gadgets and financial situations, lots and lots of stuff, and flowers and bells and whistles and stars and sunny days and rainy days and a Mabul that destroyed the world and a rainbow that showed us a sign that he's not going to do the same destruction, but not necessarily, not a different destruction, and fires and waters and all types of wonderful things. Guess what? You're here to hear this for a reason. Why? He could have put you somewhere else. He could have let you hear something else. If you're hearing this right now, or 5 years from now, you're hearing it, it's you. Don't look behind you. Don't, I know some. No, it's you. Something has to do with you. Why? You've been watching and nothing changed. No, I've only been watching for 15 minutes. Exactly, it's too long already. You haven't already committed to change. Within the first 15 minutes, you should have already said, I got to change something. Ribono shel olam. What I got to do? I got to change something. 15 minutes into, you should have already said, what? It's Elul. It's Elul. The people in the previous generation would have collapsed on the floor on the moment they heard the judgment day is coming in a month, and I haven't even committed to do tshuva today. It's Elul. Nothing. Nothing changed. This has to do with you. This has to do with me. It has to do with all of us. Why? Kadosh Baruch Hu designed the whole world and let us hear this. Now, Rabotai, many of us are listening to the Chazon Ish give us a picture-perfect system and thought process of how to become a malach, how to become an angel. And he continues this week in the 11th section of the first chapter. He says, there are people who want to do good to others. For a person who enjoys doing good to others, meeting a good friend is a source of joy. He greets him pleasantly. He may be afraid that perhaps he has not hit exactly the right note with him. Perhaps he has said something wrong. What pains him most is the pain of having offended someone or of having withheld a kindness. Right off the bat, Chazon Ish tells us about what a malach thinks like. Why? Regular people don't think like this. There are kind people that exist in the world. Baruch Hashem many. Some of them even help us do all the things that we do. They give, they help. But he's not really describing kindness. He's describing a step further. He's saying there are certain people that they want to do this good for other people, and they actually get joy out of this. So much so that this becomes their primary part of their brain, primary part of their thought process, to the point where they're constantly worried about bringing joy to others, because that's what brings them joy. So if they see you, they make sure to say hello. They make sure that you have food in your fridge. They make sure that you have a job and you're able to pay the bills. They make sure that you know they care. They make sure to hear you out if you have something to say. They're constantly worried about you, even though they don't have to be. You're a grown man, you're a grown woman. And they're not even family. There are some people like this in the world, but not many. One time, Chazon Ish was invited to a wedding of a couple of students, and he said, "Yeah, I'll come." So, to have the Gadol Hador come to a wedding is a big deal. You wait for him more than you wait for the bride and groom. Chazon Ish just asked, "Listen, if you could just have somebody come pick me up at the house to tell me where to go, I'd happily come." So, a couple of Talmidim showed up at the Chazon Ish's house, and they see that the Rav is talking to an older couple. So, one of the ways that people learn from big Chachamim is they just listen into their conversations, how they deal with other people without saying their 2 cents. Today, you can know if you're a Chacham or not, or at least what you're viewed as. Why? If you're a Chacham, nobody interrupts. If you're not a Chacham, everybody interrupts. No, but Rabbi, I don't agree with it. Who are you? Who asked you to be in a conversation? Who asked you to be in a conversation? Who asked your opinion? Where did you come from? No, I don't know, we're just overhearing. Oh, you're overhearing. So anyway, these couple of people are overhearing the conversation that Rav is having, 2 older couple. And they hear a conversation that's very unusual for a Gadol Hador to have. What? So how many buttons should we get, Rabbi? Buttons? Oh, I think you should get 500 buttons. But which buttons should we get? Should we get the plastic ones, or should we get the ones that are made out of something that looks like plastic, or the buttons that are... You should get that one. What about, what color should we get? The light brown, or the dark brown, or maybe the blue? What does the Rav think? He gives them a choice. Get the blue, it's nice. What about the string for the buttons? The string for the buttons. Should we get it that's made out of hair, or should we get it from... He tells them this. The Talmidim are listening to this. Either the Rav has lost his mind, or he has some type of clothing business on the side. Like, what is this? And then what about kind of fabric should we get? Okay. And what kind of sock should we get? How long should, the Chazon Ish had a halakha about how long your sock should be. What kind of sock should we get? What kind of material we should get? How long they should be? All types of details about clothes and how many pieces and how many this and how many that. Now, every few minutes, the Talmidim, they have people waiting at the wedding hall. 200 people are waiting. So they, clearing their throat to make sure the Rav knows they're there, but nothing. He's not paying attention to them. An hour they're waiting. Eventually he finishes with this older couple. He sees the Talmid, okay, yalla, let's go. We got to hurry. We have to go to a wedding. So Talmidim says, for the Rav, Lamdeni, teach us. We know that the Rav was doing some type of chesed. We know that the Rav was doing some type of good deed. But the question is, how come the bride and groom and 200 guests have to suffer for the Rav's chesed? Chazon Ish says, you see, that couple, they're both Holocaust survivors. And the entire nation of Israel is indebted to them to help them in any way. Everyone is obligated to help them in any way. Now, since the bill came to me, I had to pay it on behalf of Klal Yisrael. And them waiting is the way that they are paying along with me. when a person thinks about doing good for others, this can become a normal thought process. I'm here, I'm going to waste, in your eyes, an hour of my life talking about buttons and strings, even though I could talk about Maaseh Bereshit, I could talk about Moshe Rabbeinu, I could talk about the most difficult sugyot in the world, I could even tell you different things about your brain that your brain surgeon doesn't know. You may view it as a waste of time to talk about buttons, but Chazon Ish says no. Why? This is Torah, and this is Torah. This is helping people, this is helping people. I can't talk to them about Moshe Rabbeinu right now. I got to talk to them about buttons. Why? Because the buttons is what fits the bill today. That's what fits the bill today. When you think about others and you constantly want to help them, you're not always going to have the same message. If you have the same message, you have to check yourself to see, is it because it's your message and you care less about what the recipient is and who the recipient is? Because you should care if you want to help them, unless you want to help yourself. So now, the Chazon Ish tells us that there are certain types of people that are already on their way to becoming angels, where perhaps their thought process is very unusual to compared to the average person, because they're constantly thinking about if they've done something wrong that made the other person unhappy, even if they didn't even interact yet. Now, many people have this feeling, but not because of the right reasons. Oh, she doesn't want to talk to me. Why do you assume she doesn't want to talk to you? No, I'm not assuming. She just hasn't answered my calls. She doesn't answer my calls, so she doesn't want to talk to me. She probably hates me because I didn't invite her to the wedding of my uncle's cousin, nephew's dog, his brother, the next door neighbor. I didn't invite her, so she's probably mad at me. And also because I have the same dress as hers, and also because when I walked by in the mall on the right, on the left, she passed by with her car and I didn't wave, but I'm not even sure she saw me. You have all this shtuyot in your head of what? Do you ever think maybe she's just busy? She's not answering your calls because she's busy? Why does it have to be all the other stuff? Why does it have to be that you didn't invite, you didn't do this, you didn't do that? It's all about you. Why is it always about you? Maybe she didn't call you because there's something wrong. Maybe she's busy. Maybe you're not, the world, and she has other parts of the world. And that's why she didn't call you. Maybe she didn't see you. Maybe your phone got disconnected. Maybe you broke. Maybe you got lost. Like, did you ever think that maybe the issue is with her and not you? Maybe the world doesn't revolve around you, lady. Maybe they didn't hire you because you're not the right fit, and not because you're not white, or you're not green, or you're not burgundy, or you're not Jewish, or you're not Chinese. Maybe they didn't give you the role because they found something better. Maybe it's not because of all the other things you have in your head. Why does it always have to be the things that are in your head? This, Rabotai, if a person simply just stopped here and did tshuva for this, half your problems are gone. Why? Most of our problems are in our mind. He doesn't like me. Why doesn't he like you? How do you know? He told you he doesn't like you? No, I saw the way he looked at me. What do you mean the way he looked at you? No, he gave me an attitude. By looking at you, could already tell, were you a prophet? No, I just see his face. His face was like, I don't know, he wasn't happy. Oh, maybe he had gas. Maybe he saw somebody behind you he doesn't like. Maybe his face twitches. Maybe $1.5 million. Why does it have to be about you? Why? Is the whole world revolve around you? We're so upset with the world, but in reality it has nothing to do with the world. It's us. Chazon Ish says, if we just turn the switch a little bit, forget about you for a moment, start thinking about other people. He's upset. What could I do to make him happy? He looks upset. Maybe I upset him, and I could do something better. I don't know what I did, but it doesn't matter. But I could do something to fix it or to do. But if we're constantly looking as we're the victims, and everybody doesn't like us, that's a problem. Why? Because it's not coming from humility. It's coming from selfishness. It's coming from ego. Thinking that the world revolves around you. So first and foremost, person has to start thinking differently. Because the Chazon Ish says, what pains such a good person, what pains him most, is the pain of having offended someone, or of having withheld a kindness. Meaning, he sees he has food, and he sees his colleague is not eating. And he ate his sandwich already, without asking his colleague whether he wants a piece. He ate it already. And now he's going to feel bad about it. Why? Maybe he didn't have any money to eat. And me, pig-faced that I am, I ate the whole sandwich without asking my colleague that I sit next to for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I didn't ask him if he wants a piece. What kind of selfish person am I? I can't deal with it. I'm going to the restaurant. Hello? Yeah. Give me a burger and this $50 meal. Why? Shows up to the girl. Listen, why'd you give me this? I don't know. I figured you're hungry. Yeah, but I have food. Oh, okay. I didn't know. Whatever. You want it? Sure. Why not? Thanks for thinking of me. Why are you thinking of him? Because you know that you should not think of him and only think about yourself. He's constantly thinking of withholding kindness from other people. He himself is never hurt by others because his love-filled heart covers up any offense. And he's prepared in advance to accept barbs and reproaches from others with true love, knowing that most people do not possess noble qualities and do not have good midot, and that one cannot demand much from them. If a person can understand what the Chazon Ish wrote just now, the other half of your problems will simply disappear and will never come back. The Chazon Ish here is saying that the person that's doing kindness for others, what is constantly stopping us from helping other people? What's number one reason? People are ungrateful. Number one reason. Let's say you start off on a good. I'm gonna be Baba Sali today. I'm gonna be the Baal Shem Tov today. Anybody else gonna look at me? I'm gonna smile. With tooth, without tooth. I'm gonna talk to everybody. Hi, how are you? How's your kid? All of a sudden you're a Hasid, right? So you start helping people. Yeah, hey, how are you? How's everything? Hey, give tzedakah to everybody until you run out of money. Everything's good, right? You start helping. What do you figure? Naturally, you figure they'd appreciate it. You'd figure they'd say, next day, they'll say hi to you. Next day, say, you want to come home for dinner. Next day, they're going to say, how you doing? Next day, they're going to say, hey, listen, he's a good guy. Somebody's going to acknowledge. Instead, what do you get? That guy, what? Stingy. Yeah, he only gave me one slice of pizza. Yeah, that guy, he only donated $100. Better he didn't give anything, this guy. That guy, terrible. Why? That's people. So what do? Okay, that's it. I'm not helping anybody anymore. I'm taking care of everybody all this time. No one's grateful. I'm going in my cave. The heck with you. I'm going to be Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Take care of myself. Right? I tried helping you guys. You didn't say thank you. You didn't appreciate nothing. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Chazon Ish says, now you became worse than them. Why? You missed the whole point. What's the point of helping them? Is the point of helping them so you get something in return? Then that's not help. That's business. If you're helping so they give you something back, that's not help, that's business, that's a transaction. I give you money, you give me stuff. I give you stuff, you give me money. if you're expecting something in return, that is not help. That's business. If you're gonna help, Chazon Ish says, expect nothing in return, and in fact, expect a negative return. Not only nothing, a negative return, and remain happy because of it. Why? How could somebody go help a bunch of people, receive back ungratefulness of all kinds? You name it, he got it. You name it, she got it. Invites everyone to the weddings of her kids, but doesn't get invited. Invites everybody to their house for Shabbos, but doesn't get invited. Sends everybody flowers on their birthday, but not even a chocolate arrives at our house on her birthday. No one even remembers it. Calls everyone to say hello and how you doing? No one calls back. In fact, the only time they call is to say, how come you didn't call? Ungratefulness. And she wants to be a tzadikah. Chazon Ish says she has to be happy about this. Why? Because she has an understanding that most people, Rov Bnei Adam, have bad midot, have bad character traits. Uma efshar litboa mihem, to such an extent that you cannot expect anything from them. What is the Chazon Ish telling us? He's telling us that having bad character traits is a deformity. It's an illness. It's something that you cannot be upset about. He didn't say thank you. You should feel bad that he didn't say thank you. Why? He is deformed. He has an illness. He doesn't know how to say thank you, the poor guy. You should cry to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for him. The poor guy never said thank you in his life. Poor guy, he's scared. You should cry, pour tears on him, more than your parnasah, more than this, more than that. You should cry. The guy doesn't know how to say thank you. That's a horrible disease. Miskin. And you're upset that she didn't say thank you? What's the matter with you? I'll give you a parable. Rabbi Yaron says, one time, big guy, standing at the bus stop, waiting for the bus, as you would have it. Other people show up, and a little scrawny guy shows up next to him. Big guy stands tall, waiting for the bus, doesn't want to be bothered. And suddenly, out of nowhere, the scrawny guy takes his left elbow, right in his ribs. The big guy goes, is this guy out of his mind? I could just make him into potato chips right now. He says to the guy, what's the matter with you? The scrawny guy doesn't even look at him. Nothing, which makes it even worse. The big guy knows that if I touch this guy, police are going to show up. Stay cool, man. Stay cool. It happens. He stays cool, continues. Waits for the bus. Another few minutes pass. The big guy's there, just thinking about what happened. Wait till I tell my wife what happened, what a strange bus ride I had today. And as he's thinking about what he's going to tell his wife, all of a sudden, he goes, what's the matter with you, man? He starts yelling at the guy. Hey! The guy, the scrawny, doesn't even look at him. Just sits there like this. Like nothing happened. The big guy wants to make him now into bamba, not even potato chips. thinks to himself, I'm going to take this guy, take him into potato chips, then some bamba. What's going to come out of it? I'm going to get arrested because he's going to blame me. There's no cameras here. Stay cool, man. Stay cool. You just got out of prison. Just stay cool, man. He stays cool. He sits up there. He's like, wait till I tell my wife how they're trying to get me, man. They're trying to get me. And he stays cool. Another few minutes pass. And all of a sudden, as he's thinking about his wife, and I can't wait to get home, tah! This time, that's it. I've had it. I'm going back to prison, man. I'm going to take... And as he's about to grab this guy's head, who's not even looking at him, all of a sudden, another guy showed up in his ear. And all of a sudden, he goes like, oh, wow. All of a sudden, oh, wow. It feels bad. It feels awful. It feels terrible. I can't believe I almost did that. Wow. And he's just nodding the whole time when the bus comes. He's like, yeah, go ahead, man. He tells the scrawny guy, go ahead, man. He goes, oh, thank you. He said, go ahead, man. What did he say to him? You see, when the situation looked like it looked like the skinny guy was looking for an early death penalty. But his friend whispered in his ear, the big guy's ear, says, listen, the guy you're yelling at, he's deaf. And not only is he deaf, he has muscle spasms and he doesn't have control over his body. He's not hitting you on purpose. He doesn't even know he's hitting you. All of a sudden, in a matter of a second, all of that anger disappeared and was replaced with sorrow. Now that you understand the real circumstance. Rabotai Yekarim, what the Chazon Ish is trying to teach us here, when someone takes something that you gave them and doesn't say thank you, you are not supposed to get upset. Why? They have a sickness. When someone, instead of showing you gratitude, shows you ungratefulness, you shouldn't be upset. You should feel sad for them. They're sick. They don't even have control over themselves, the poor people. What are you so upset over? The reality is, now that you realize what the Chazon Ish says is 100% emet, the vast majority of people have bad character traits. Why? They weren't taught good character traits. And even if they were taught good character traits, they simply thought you're either born with good or you're not. You're either born a kind person or you're not born a kind person. You're either born a calm person or you're born an angry person. I can tell you for myself, I was born an angry person. When someone told me, i.e. Rabbi Ephraim, told me anger is no good, I said, yeah, what do you want from me? I was born angry. I didn't think for a second that that is something I'm supposed to work on. I was born angry. What's the problem? It's not my fault. I was born this way. I didn't create me. If you have a problem, go call HaShem. He says, no. That's the point of you. You're born angry, you have to fix it. You're born stingy, you have to fix it. You're born arrogant, you have to fix it. Or else there's no point of you. When someone has an understanding that not only are these bad character traits there, but it's there by choice. Yes, you were born with bad character traits. All of us were. But to keep them that way is a choice. It's a choice. Why? Because we know it's wrong. It's wrong to be angry. It's wrong to be stingy. It's wrong to be arrogant. It's wrong to be all types of other bad things. So we have to change it. Okay, so what about everybody else? Everybody else is not your business. You worry about you. Okay, so how do I deal with them if I'm working on myself, and I'm working on not being angry, and I'm working on not being stingy, and I'm working on not being arrogant, and I'm working on not being this and not being that, and I'm working and working and working, and they're not working? Yes, that's the point. You work on you in order to make you realize you have even more of a reason to feel bad for them for staying the same way they are. Now that you know that you can work on yourself and no longer be angry, no longer be bad, no longer be a cheater, no longer be a liar, now that you know that you can do it, yet they're still there, that's even more of a reason for you to feel bad for them and not be upset with them. Why? They're sick. The poor people are sick. What are you going to beat him up because he's crippled? Go pick on somebody your own size. That's the machshava of a Jew. That's the thought process of a Jew that has the right ideology. Now, of course, this is definitely not easy. No one says it is. But what good in life is easy? The Chazon Ish says, such a person, he himself is never hurt by others. Why? He is prepared in advance to accept the barbs and the reproaches. Meaning, already before he met them, already before he gave them, he prepared himself mentally. I'm going to give them candy and they're going to throw it in my face. I'm going to help save them and they're going to spit on me. I'm going to help them in such ways and they're not going to help me. Already he's prepared for the worst. Not because he thinks they're bad people and they're just going to... Because he sees the poor people don't know anything good yet. Hopefully something good comes out of it. Hopefully they say thank you. Hopefully they become supportive. Hopefully. But I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. You do good because it's good to do. It's the right thing to do. It's what a Kadosh Baruch Hu wants you to do. Not because you're going to get anything in return. You want something in return? Go to Wall Street. Go to some market. Go do business. But if you're going to do good for the sake of good, then you got something. Then you got something. But this, Rabotai, requires mental and spiritual preparation. And a clear understanding that you have nothing to ask from other people. Why? If they are where you used to be, that's even more of a reason for you to help them and not be upset with them. So in spite of all of it, he values and respects them and has no bad feelings of the type that cause people to scorn others. Feelings of great delicacy cause such a person to use for the greatest good two opposites of the same realm. On one hand, he blames himself every step of the way for lack of perfection of his own character traits. And on the other, he excuses his fellow man completely, even if the latter is laden with many sins. This is Midat Chasidut in a single sentence. But real Chasidut. Real Chasidut is not just giving people a smile, but in reality expecting them to return one, or at least a check, even without a smile. Here he's saying, you're going to go help others with all types of things. You're going to help them move, and you're going to help them get a job, and you're going to help them eat, and you're going to help her this, and you're going to help her that. You're going to help without expecting anything in return. And in fact, if they show you a nasty attitude, you feel bad for them. Because you realize this nasty attitude is simply an illness. A lack of understanding of what their point in the world is. A lack of understanding that HaShem runs the world and HaShem is the reason of why the world is the way it is. of why it rains, of why the economy is up or down, of why evil is allowed to succeed, and so on and so forth. We choose our actions, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu chooses the outcomes. And there's no complaints that you can give to Hashem, and even though they're complaining about Hashem non-stop, you simply understand that they are misinformed. But when you see them unhappy, first thing is, you blame yourself. I didn't say the right thing to them. I didn't bring them closer. I didn't have patience with them. You start checking yourself. How could I have done a better job? You know, people say in America, the customer is always right. That's the policy. It's really wrong. Customer is not always right. There are many times they're wrong. But if you want to stay in business, you have to pretend like the customer is always right. But we're not in business. We're simply trying to bring good to the world and do good ourselves. And Chazon Ish says, it starts off with checking your own imperfections. Yeah, but he was angry. Okay, I understand he was angry. He's sick, but was there something you could have done better? Like not react to his anger. You know, an argument is a two-way street. If he's yelling but you don't respond, it's not an argument. He just looks crazy. So if you don't yell back, guess what? There's no argument. Sometimes you can win the argument by killing them with love. Ah! Wow. I love the way your eyes look when you're upset. Yeah, they might want to punch you in the face, but after they see that you're actually saying a compliment about them, they're not. Why? They're going to see that they're yelling and you're not. Sometimes that's the way. Sometimes there's different ways. Point being is, instead of analyzing all of their errors and how they're doing something wrong, understand they're sick, and you have an understanding of that illness, and therefore you should self-diagnose first. How can I fix me? How could I have reacted different? How could I have done something different? Maybe I triggered them. Maybe I did something wrong. Not coming from a self-conscious loser personality, but rather a person that's looking to improve themselves. A confident person, a knowledgeable person. Not a person that feels bad for themselves no matter what they do. You know, some people always think that they're wrong because they have no confidence whatsoever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a person that is self-aware and simply understands that other people have flaws, but I can't fix them. I can fix me. So on one hand, he has to look at the lack of perfection of his own traits. And on the other, he has to find excuses for his fellow man. Even if the latter is with many sins. Meaning, you see that she is showing you what a truck driver's mouth sounds like. And instead of turning her into a monster, you start analyzing yourself, and then you start giving reasons of why she has such a mouth. Oh, her father that's what he taught her. So imagine, for 20 years she's in her father's house, that's all she heard. If I heard something for 20 years, I'd probably do the same thing. Oh, and our classmates, and our best friends, and our first marriage, and our this, and our brothers, and her work. And you start realizing, wait, she didn't just become like this by herself. She was influenced to think that this is good. So it's really not completely her fault. Yes, it's her choice to choose, but she doesn't know that yet. Yes, she's a sinner, but she doesn't know she's a sinner. Well, she doesn't know it's a sin to curse. She doesn't know it's a sin to be immodest. She thought, since everybody's walking around with no clothes on, I should too. Or else I'm going to lose my husband. She doesn't know it's wrong. So you start thinking, how could I get her to see it? What am I doing wrong here that I'm not getting her to see it? And you start analyzing yourself and finding kaf zchut, benefit of the doubt for others. Not justifying their sins to leave them that way, but rather looking at it, analyzing it, and finding a creative way to, number one, not make them look bad in your eye where you start hating them, and two, find a way to actually help them become healthy. Now, such a person of fine qualities does not require excessive restraint and much effort in the battle against natural anger and against the pain of being insulted, because his spirit is already refined and polished to the point that it cannot be besmirched, and he enjoys great happiness. Here the Chazon Ish gives us a conclusion of such hard work. To say everything I said is easy. To do it is much more difficult. So what's the goal? Why should we do it? Other than that would be good, and the world around us would turn into good. Chazon Ish says simply, such a person that has worked on all of these things, has realigned his or her mind to think this way, to act this way, is not only going to have an easy time overcoming things like anger, which plague all of us, by simply not being angry anymore. But on top of it, even if somebody gives you a reason to be angry, by insulting you, it won't affect you. As if it's another fly in the air and you're walking around. Another mosquito. Nothing. Dog's barking. Who cares? Let him bark. What's it going to do? What, you think if you tell him quiet, he's going to stop? You think if you tell the mosquito to stop flying into your face, he's going to stop? No, it's going to continue. So you can either stay upset, or you can simply realize this is a reality and there's no reason for me to be upset. HaShem runs the world. Such a person will not feel any pain when they're insulted. Why? Because their spirit has become refined and polished to the point where it cannot be besmirched. It can't be touched. No one can affect it in a negative way. And now he enjoys great happiness. What's happiness? It's a state of mind at all times. You wake up happy, you exist happy, you go to sleep happy, you're just happy. You don't need anything to stimulate your happiness like people think. People think, if I get this money, I'll be happy. If I get this girl, I'll be happy. If I marry this guy, I'll be happy. If I get this job, I'll be happy. Meaning, they believe that they need some type of stimuli, some type of something to make them happy. Wrong. Happiness is a spiritual state of being. It is not something physical, tangible. It's spiritual. Meaning you cannot feed spiritual with material, with the physical. You can't just give somebody a bag of money and make them happy. Why? They could be on their deathbed. That money is not going to do anything for them. You cannot make somebody happy just by giving him stuff. You can give him the most beautiful woman in the world. He's blind. It's not going to help him, buddy. He's not going to help him, or he's brokenhearted from his first wife, or whatever it is. That's not going to help him. But happiness is not something that's physical, that's tangible. Happiness is simply a state of being as a result of your spirituality. Getting to a certain level. When a person does these steps, he can get to happiness. Now, to be such a person, to be such a malach, we can say this is hard. This may be a job for the tzaddikim. This may be a job for the Gdolei Ador, maybe. Maybe Moshe Rabbeinu was like this. Maybe the Chazon Ish was like this. But us, little us, we can't do it. But when you think you can't, you're right. You can't. But not because you can't. Because you think you can't. Whatever you think, you're right. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Meaning, it's choice. Whether you can or you can't. But to stimulate your selection to the right choice, I have to inform you, it's not exactly a free choice. It's a choice with a price. The Torah tells us in the book of Numbers, Sefer Bamidbar, in chapter 15, verse number 40, we have a very common pasuk that we read every day for the tzitzit. And it says, "Leman tizkeru, ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai, ve'itim kedoshim le'elohechem," so that you may remember and perform all my commandments and be holy to your God. So this is a Torah obligation to remember and perform all of the mitzvot, so we become holy to Hashem. Now, Targum Yonatan, over 2,500 years ago, Targum Yonatan says on this pasuk that because you will remember and fulfill my mitzvot, you will be like the angels before Hashem your God. Meaning, as a result of you perfecting the mitzvot, serving Hashem, watching your eyes, watching your BEIT, watching your mouth, make sure that whatever comes in is kosher, whatever comes out is kosher. Watching your ears, that whatever comes in is kosher, and if it's not, you put your ears and you run away. Watching your pockets to make sure that there's kosher money coming in and kosher money coming out. Making sure that everything you do is in accordance with the commandments that Hashem gave us. If you're going to tell her that, make sure you thought about it before you say it. Why? That's Hashem's daughter. If you're going to say something to him, make sure you thought about it twice. Why? He's Hashem's son. When a person starts analyzing every single one of his actions and starts comparing them to mitzvah and avirah. Okay, I want to do this, but it's on the avirah section. Okay, so deleted. Okay, I want to do this other thing, but oh no, it's not allowed. Deleted. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, allowed. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, I'm going to do it then. I'm going to do it. I won. What? It's a mitzvah. I can do it. We don't look at things that are based on whether I want to do it or don't want to do it. We see, I want to do this, but which one is it? Is it mitzvah or avirah? Mitzvah or sin? Oh, sin? Okay, delete it. I don't do it. I don't do sins. Why? It's not the commandments. It's not a mitzvah to make a sin. It's not a mitzvah to make a sin. It's a mitzvah to make a mitzvah. So when I want to do something, I'm going to check, is it allowed, not allowed? Allowed? Okay, so that's a mitzvah then. When a person starts serving Hashem by looking at his life based on the commandments, remembers to fulfill them, that person becomes a malach. That person becomes an angel serving Hashem. That's what Targum Yonatan ben Uziel. Yonatan ben Uziel gave a commentary in the Torah that the Gemara in Masechet Megillah, I believe, says that when he wrote his commentary on the Torah, when he wrote the commentary on the Torah, a bat kol came from Shamayim and said, Who Who is the person that disclosed the secrets of heaven to flesh and blood? That's the commentary we have here. He says, you don't have to pretend to be an angel anymore. You can become one. How? Follow the Torah. But not just the Torah that you like or the Torah you agree with. Everything. Everything. No exceptions. Whether it be modesty, or it be honest business, or it be ethics, and so on and so forth. Everything. Now, the biggest problem that we have in becoming malachim is not that the mitzvot are difficult. Because they're not. Moshe Rabbeinu told us, "Bepicha ubilvavcha la'asoto." It's in your mouth, it's in your heart to do it. Meaning that you are created to fulfill the mitzvot. It's not so hard. Just like your coffee maker was created to make coffee, it's not hard for the coffee maker to make 10 cups of coffee. That's what it was made for. You were created to make mitzvot. So it should not be hard for you to make mitzvot. So why do you struggle? It's not because the mitzvot are hard, but rather because the desires are in the way. There are desires that you have that are against the mitzvot. And these desires, Rabotai, are what's killing us. Rabbeinu Bechaye says in Parashat Shmini, on verse in chapter 11, in the book of Leviticus, verse 44, he says on the pasuk that says, Kedoshim to you, meaning that you be holy, he says to be holy on Am Yisrael is a higher responsibility than the holiness of the nations, and will be made through the Torah and Mitzvot. Why through the Torah and Mitzvot? Because this Torah and these Mitzvot will strengthen the mind of the person fulfilling them in order to overcome his desires. And it's known that the desire is strong enough to defeat the mind and takes priority over the mind because a person is born with them. A person, when he's first born, he's born just with desires, no mind, no wisdom, nothing. Goo goo gaga, that's all he can say, barely. And he doesn't have a mind, doesn't have a wisdom, nothing for a while. When does he start getting it? Once he gets to 12, 13 years old, 14, little by little, which means that you live in this world for 12, 13, 14, some of us 30, 40 years, with no mind whatsoever. We're just pretty much reflexes. All we live on is purely based on desire. So the desire, pretty much running the show. So now you want this mind, this wisdom to beat this desire. Desire is an old man already. He's running the show for so long. Rabbeinu Bechaye says, you're right. Your desire is running the show. It has control. And in fact, it has helpers. You got a sandwich? That's a desire. You ate the sandwich, it gave you a good feeling. What does that do? Gives the desire even more chizuk to do it again next time. You have a desire, it's something inappropriate. It's something that's immodest. It's something that's not allowed. You get it, you get joy out of it. What does that do? It gives your desire chizuk, like a drug. So now you want to do it again. So your desire not only is already older, already a veteran in you, for much longer than wisdom, but it has helpers too. And what about the wisdom? Rabbeinu Bechaye says it's alone in the world. No helpers. No helpers. Except the Torah and Mitzvot. Meaning, the only way to overcome our desires is through Torah and Mitzvot. Why? There is no other way. And that's what the Rambam writes in Isurei Be'ah, chapter 22, Halakha number 21. After he discusses different sins of immorality, of how they're forbidden, it's forbidden to do all types of different immoral things, whether a person is by himself or even with his own wife. He has to know what's allowed, what's not allowed. Then he says, a person should distance himself from levity, intoxication, and flirtation, for they are great precipitators and steps leading to forbidden relations. A man should not live without a wife, for having a wife leads to great purity. And our sages gave even greater advice, saying, a person should always turn himself and his thoughts to the words of the Torah and expand his knowledge and wisdom. For the thoughts of forbidden relations grow strong solely in the heart which is empty of wisdom. And in Shlomo HaMelech's words of wisdom, in Proverbs 5:19, it is a beloved hind, arousing favor. Her breast will satisfy you at all times. You shall be obsessed with her love. Here, the Chachamim explain to us that you have a situation where you are constantly exposed to immorality. You're constantly exposed to sin. You're constantly exposed to desire. Which means that already we have all of this junk in here. Which means that we are predisposed to act on the junk that's here. So the Rambam writes, you want to overcome these desires, you have to replace those thoughts. Why? Because only a mind that's empty of wisdom, it's not empty, it's empty of wisdom. What does it have? It has the immorality, it has the filth. It's like the bowl of Yosef HaTzadik. It says that the bowl was not empty. Why? It was empty of water, it was empty of people, but it had snakes and scorpions in it. Our minds, Rabotai, they're never empty completely. Either they have wisdom or they have filth in them. And the Rambam gives clear advice. He says, first and foremost, you should stay away from things that trigger it. Intoxication, flirtation, making fun of things, all types of just hanging out and just laughing at the world. That stuff is not going to be good. Why? It leads you to make sins. Specifically that particular sins. By yourself, with somebody else, and so on and so forth. Furthermore, you should get married as soon as possible. Don't stay single. Oh no, I'm only 20, Rabbi. Yeah, you're already old according to the Torah. Get married. Yeah, but I don't have any money yet. Who says you need money to get married? People think you're supposed to be rich before you get married. If you wait until you're rich, nobody's going to want you. You're going to be 80 years old. So, enough with the mentality that you're supposed to be rich before, or you're supposed to be financially settled before. All you're supposed to be is, I want to get married. That's it. That's all you're supposed to be. Everything else, the Kadosh Baruch Hu takes care of anyway. So a person should not live without a wife, because living with a wife leads to purity. But even more so, he says, a person should always turn himself and his thoughts to the words of Torah. Not only he should do the mitzvot, he should go to the Knesset, he should go to the shiur. No, but his thoughts should always go to the Torah. Why? Because your mind has to be somewhere. It's either in good or in bad. Either you're thinking of Torah and mitzvot and a chidush and a different act you're going to do that's kindness, chesed, all types of things, or you're thinking about stuff that's not allowed. Now, the only way that a person will consistently do what's allowed, what's good, what's a mitzvah, is if they're constantly toiling in Torah. Why? Because if you just dabble in it here and there whenever you get a chance, guess what? You're going to run out of stuff to think. You're going to run out of stuff to think. Even more so, if you don't want to do it, then you're not going to want to think about it either. If all you want to do is go make money, but I'll pretend to be religious by going to shul on Shabbat and putting on tefillin and maybe giving some tzedakah, that's not going to save you from your desires. Why? Because the desires are the only reason why you're not enjoying the Torah. That's what's getting in the way. That's the reason why we have a tough time. Because the Torah itself, the mitzvot, they're easy. They're easy. But it's impossible for it to be easy if you don't want to do it. Sometimes you hire people, and the worst question a person or comment that a person can make is, wow, looks like hard work. Person like that, you should find a way not to hire them. Why? They're not looking to work. They're looking to sleep. So you should help them out. Say, listen, you want to sleep? How about this? We have a giveaway. It's a pillow for all the people that want to sleep like you. You go sleep. Good luck to you. Wow, it's hard work. It's hot outside. What'd you think it was? Camp? Want us to give you a canteen with some juice in it, with a little bit of potato chips maybe? Some bamba? It's hard work. Yeah, it's hard work. What do you want? You want a vacation? Go somewhere else. What's the problem? People want a vacation at work and they want a vacation at life too. Adam la'amal yulad. A person was created to toil, for hard work. Hard work at work, hard work on your neshama. Hard work on your own personal character traits. Your own servitude of HaShem. This means that if you don't want to do it, by default, you are making it hard. It's not HaShem that made it hard. He programmed you to do it. You are rejecting the manufacturer's instructions, and therefore it's difficult for you. Because if you are doing what you were supposed to, like you're supposed to, it would come naturally. Because you're rejecting it, the system doesn't know what to do. The neshama says to do it, but the body says no. So they're constantly fighting with each other. So you're putting on tefillin. 1, 2, 3, whatever, 5. No, yalla, come on, Shema Yisrael. Okay, I'm finished. Yalla, guys, see you later. Kaddish already? What do you mean? We didn't even say Shema Yisrael yet. Whatever, I did Shema Yisrael already. You came to the shul like you're doing somebody a favor. Somebody like that, of course it's going to be hard for him. It's hard to be religious, Rabbi. Only if people don't want to be religious. Only if you don't want to be religious. Only if you don't want to serve Hashem. Only if you don't want to do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says because you think you have a better plan. But the reality is, Rabotai Karim, is the Chazon Ish is trying to give us a secret. A person that lived a long life, full of Torah, full of mitzvot, full of people, full of a lot of different things. He saw life, not only from the perspective of Torah, but from the perspective of somebody that lived a life. He's saying to you, listen, I've seen them, I was young, I was old, and I've never seen any righteous person begging for their kids. No. Why? Because those people provide for everybody. The ones that are crying, they're not connected to Hashem. They're not connected to Hashem. Because they're crying even if they have a lot. The ones that are not crying, maybe they don't have also. But you know what? They're connected to Hashem. And they understand who to cry to. They're not crying to people, they're crying to Hashem. Kabutai, he's telling you, I've seen it, I've done it, I've followed it, and he even has a name after it. Chazon Ish was obviously not his name. Ish means man, but is really an acronym for Adam Yireh Shamayim. A person that has Yirat Shamayim. He says, with this Yirat Shamayim, the Chazon Ish says, you're going to want to connect to Hashem at the highest level. What's connecting to Him at the highest level? Work on yourself. Start fixing yourself. Start realizing that there's different things that you can do better. Start looking at everybody else's deficiencies as if they are sick and you're here to help them, or at the very least, encourage them to get help, and not to make fun of them, not to hate them due to it, not to insult them, but rather, you are healthy already because you know where the cure is. Help them in any way you can. Do every way you can. And most importantly, know this is the way to happiness. This is the way to serve Hashem. This is the way to Gan Eden. if a person takes the instructions of the Chazon Ish, they're not only going to arrive at Olam Haba with something to wait for, with something to look forward to, but they're already going to start living it here. They're already going to start living it here. Now, I can tell you that everything that we said is not easy for anybody. But it is an obligation. Rabbeinu Lepyan, which was a Ish Kodesh, many say had Ruach HaKodesh. One time one of his Talmidim came to him and told him, Rabbi, I'm sorry for speaking against you, and I want to apologize. I spoke behind your back, I said such and such. So Rabbeinu Lepyan said, what did you say? He says, doesn't matter. He says, if you want me to forgive you, I need to know what you said. And to who? Where? And he tells him what he says. Listen, I said the rabbi's extremist a little bit. Maybe he's just an angry person, so he's taking it out on us. That's what I said. I said, okay, come back in a week. Okay. The young man comes back a week later. He says, yes, Rabbi. Rabbeinu Lepyan says, I forgive you. So the student says, Rabbi, 2 questions. 1, why do you care what I said? 2, what's with the week? You already knew what I said right away. So Rabbeinu Lepyan says, listen, you may look at the rabbi like he's doing everything and he's perfect and he doesn't have a heart and he takes everything lightly and he has no. Still flesh and blood. I wanted to hear what you said to know the damage that was made. Why? Because you're not just hurting a person, you're hurting everything he's worked his whole life for. I wanted you to understand you did something wrong. But not just hurting me, you're hurting potentially a life's worth of work. So I needed to know. But what's with the week? After I heard what you said, I couldn't forgive you. And I had to work on myself the whole week to convince myself to forgive you. If the Gadol Hador had to wait a week of working on himself day and night, surely it's going to take us a little time also. Rabbeinu Lepyan says, I just finally got to forgiving you moments before you arrived. That means it is hard work. That means it is not difficult. So there's no reason for us to feel bad about not being Rabbeinu Lepyan. But it doesn't mean that we don't do it. It doesn't mean that we have a get out of jail free card. We just don't have to do it because it's hard. Everything in life that's of any value is hard. Anything that's free is usually not good. It's usually not good. Now you're going to say, no, the Torah is free. Torah is not free. Torah is nothing about it is free. You want to earn Torah? You have to be willing to sacrifice the most valuable possession you have, your life. Otherwise, it's not Torah. It's just some book that you heard or read. Gemara Masechet Brachot, Resh Lakish says, the only people that inherit or acquire Torah are people that are willing to sacrifice their life for it. It's much more than money. It's much more than anything else. It's your actual life. If you're not willing to invest your life, you're never going to get Torah. How do you know? How do you see it? I see it with people all the time. Many times people say, oh, I watch your shurim, hey, I love them, oh, great. No, what's the problem? Okay, they give me a problem, and we give them a solution. Keep watching this series, it's going to help you. Keep watching this series, it's going to help you. 3 months passed, no, did you watch the series? Yeah, some of it. Are you still having the same problem? Yeah, okay. Of course. Of course you're having the same problem. You know why? Because you're not taking it seriously. You like the way the words come out of my mouth. You like the tach on your head once in a while to call you out. But it's not because you're looking to work on yourself. It's because you're spiritually sadistic. You just like to get spiritually smashed over your head. You like to hear about Genom. You like to hear about Kafakela. You like to hear about Reshaim because you don't think you're one of them. You like to hear about people that are wrong, even though you are one of them, but you're like, yeah, but it's, you got them. Yeah, great shiur. Stop it. Stop being sadistic. You have to change. You cannot continue watching all of these shiurim and not be willing to change. You cannot be a woman watching my shiurim and continue to walk around with no sleeves on, with nothing on. Hashem Yishmor. Put some clothes on. Cover yourself and respect yourself. You are a daughter of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not the garbage pail. Treat yourself like a princess, not like public property. You cannot continue learning the words of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but treat yourself as if you're one of the peasants that cannot afford clothes. The guys, stop making excuses. Oh, it's hard. It's only hard because you keep going back to the bad websites. That's why it's hard, you idiot. Don't go back to the bad websites and you won't sin. Simple. No, but is there any other way? Yes, you could smash your head against the wall 500 times. I just think not going to the website's much easier. But if you continue making the same mistakes over and over again, no shiur is going to help you. And you continue watching a shiurim because you're sadistic. You just like to hear about Genom. You just like to hear about punishment. Why? Why? You have mamash Torah Kedosha in front of you, giving it to you on a silver platter. It's not even my words, it's my Rav's words, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's words. You have it given to you on a silver platter. Use them. Use them. Apply them to your life. Because if you don't, you're missing out on life. You think that you're getting better by actually meeting your desires and feeding your desires. You're not. It's the opposite. The fact that you're feeding your desires is what's causing you the suffering that you have. The bad marriages and the bad problems of business and the bad problems with kids and the bad problems psychologically and physically. All of that is because of our own actions. If we start taking HaKadosh Baruch Hu's words seriously, like He took them, guess what? All of a sudden your world changes. Your suffering is in your hands. Your problems are in your hands. The instructions are right here. You have them. Please take these instructions seriously. We have so many lectures. Baruch Hashem. Short ones, long ones, a series, one-off, holiday one, sad ones, angry ones, happy ones, all types of ones. Study them. When people tell me they watch one of the shiur and they're excited about it, I feel bad. Why? Because they think they understood the shiur after listening to it one time. I'm telling you, I've been studying with Rabbi Ephraim for nearly a decade. For nearly a decade. I listened to his shiurim at least 2 to 3 times, every one of his shiurim. And guess what? When he's making them, I'm online with him. He's making it with me. Why? You cannot learn Torah like you're learning Harry Potter. There's 1.5 million things that you're going to learn the 2nd, 3rd, 4th time, 5th time. You have to apply it and you have to work on it. You have to toil over it. But if you think it's going to come to you smooth and easy, you're never going to acquire it and you're just going to continue watching the shiurim. Yeah, I'm watching Rabbi such and such for 5 years and I don't know, life's the same though. Life's the same. You have an opportunity of a lifetime. This is a month to do tshuva. In reality, every day is to do tshuva. But today, you have an opportunity because during this month, Chazal tells us that there's a little bit more siyata dishmaya. There's more help from heaven to reach higher spiritual realms than you can during the rest of the year. One small suggestion I would suggest for everybody is throughout this entire month, only pray for spirituality. Only pray for greatest success in Torah, in Mitzvot, in Chesed. Stop praying for money. Stop praying for materialism. Stop praying for stuff. Pray to succeed in serving Hashem better by learning more of His Torah, by understanding it, by enjoying the mitzvot more, by doing more mitzvot, by learning more about mitzvot. Pray for that. Try that. Try that little trick. You'll see how not only some of those prayers will be answered, but many of your other ones too. The ones you didn't pray for. When you pray for spirituality, the gates of heaven are always open. Pray for materialism, not so much. But when you get higher spirituality, higher closeness to Hashem, and you become like one of His servants, guess what? The servant can come in and out whenever he feels like it. Let's try to be servants at least for this month. Let's try to do whatever He says, even if we don't feel like it. Even if we don't want to. Even if it makes us upset. Even this and even that. Why? It's good for us. It's good for us. These lectures are simply to wake us up. Myself first, you guys happen to be here. Try it. BeEzrat HaShem, it gives us enough chizuk, because to be honest with you, everybody asks me the same question all the time about happiness, happiness, happiness. You have it already. And we haven't even gone half the series. You already mentioned happiness to us several times. And this is as clear as day. You follow this pattern, you arrive at happiness. It's not easy, but every single one of us can do it. Baruch Adonai L'olam, Amen v'Amen.
B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach, we're very excited to offer you the new BeEzrat HaShem app 3.0. It's a newer, faster app, full of Torah, lots of Kedusha by the shiurim that we do, myself, Rav Ephraim, Rav Chaim, where you'll have also newer features where you're able to use the app while you're using other applications on your phone. You'll be able to share the lectures directly from the app. You'll be able to donate online and support our KIRUV and our Torah work that we're doing. And the most exciting feature is that you'll be able to actually ask questions directly on the app and get answers from the rabbis directly from the app. This is something unprecedented, and Baruch Hashem will be able to offer it. Thank you again for all of your support. Check it out. Make sure you have the kosher Torah that will re-energize your neshama each and every single day. Kol tu b'chava tzlacha.